Welcome to another episode of Saturday Storytime with me, Kevin, and Ty. So, today we're going to read to you from a little book on the human shadow by Robert Bly. Look at that picture. Holy moly. Holy moly, what is going on? It's a big scary giant. So, shadow. What do you mean by shadow? I'm not talking about the shadow that's left behind from the glare of sunlight, not that shadow. Um, but from a psychological perspective, specifically if you look at it under a lens of the great psychiatrist and therapist Carl Jung, basically Freud's alter ego, kind of like Socrates and Aristotle. I always get the philosophers mixed up, but yeah, I think it is Aristotle and oh no, it's Plato. I think it's Plato and Socrates, or Plato and Aristotle. But it's like another kind of dynamic between, because Freud was Carl Jung's kind of teacher. Then they kind of had a big disagreement on some of their core principles and philosophies and theories, and they kind of had a breaking up. Whereas, interestingly enough, I think it was Plato and maybe Socrates. Plato is very much emotional and very hippy dippy, like all is one, and I'm sure he's probably, if you knew about Buddhism, he'd probably be a Buddhist. Whereas Aristotle was different in the way he was very much more practical, logical, analytical, um, and in a way was very dry but smart, and his philosophy still lives on and lives through our culture today. But Carl Jung calls a shadow almost this part of us that we leave in our shadow. And it's this idea that's almost like parts of us that we're ashamed of, that we learned we can't just show. We were punished for showing it when we were younger, maybe. Maybe someone told us to stop doing it. We had to repress certain feelings, emotions, thoughts, behaviors, interests, hobbies, creative outspurts, because someone, usually someone, in an authoritative role, tells you, no, don't do that, or they punish you for doing it. So it's almost like these parts of you that in the past, or even maybe now, you want to express or you're currently expressing, but it's when we repress parts of us, we almost like it becomes our shadow. And this book, a little book on the human shadow, is short stories, poems that Robert Bly has kind of collected in this little tiny book. It's a really small read. I picked it up at a used bookstore. Let's see, it's like probably like a 70. How many pages is it? It is 81 pages. 81 pages. So we're just gonna start reading. We'll try to keep it short. I know we tend to read and go off, but we'll go short. So this time, I have picked out special part in the book I want to share. So this is story number 2. It's called "The Long Bag We Drag Behind Us." This one's very mind blowing. I read it a couple of years ago, and I keep revisiting it because every time it's almost like I almost like figure out something else from the story. It's an old Gnostic tradition that we don't invent things, we just remember. The Europeans I know of who remember the dark side best are Robert Louis Stevenson, Joseph Conrad, and Carl Jung. I'll call up a few of their ideas and add a few thoughts of my own. Let's talk about the personal shadow first. When we were 1 or 2 years old, we had what we might visualize as a 360-degree personality. Energy radiated out from all parts of our body and all parts of our psyche. A child running is a living globe of energy. We had a ball of energy, all right, but one day we noticed that our parents didn't like certain parts of that ball. They said things like, "Can't you be still?" Or, "It isn't nice to try and kill your brother." No, duh. Just playing, mom, dad, chill. Behind us, we have an invisible bag, and the part of us our parents don't like, we, to keep our parents' love, put in the bag. Sin. By the time we go to school, our bag is quite large. Then our teachers have their say. Good children don't get angry over such little things. So we take our anger and put it in the bag. By the time my brother and I were 12 in Madison, Minnesota, we were known as the nice Bly Boys. Our bags were already a mile long. You can imagine, was we put parts of us into this bag, this invisible bag that we carry around. It's metaphorically, but also psychologically and spiritually. Then we do a lot of bag stuffing in high school. This time it's no longer the evil grown-ups that pressure us, but people our own age. So the students' paranoia about grown-ups can be misplaced. I lied all through high school automatically to try to be more like the basketball players. Been there. Any part of myself that was a little slow went into the bag. My sons are going through the process now. I watched my daughters, who were older, experience it. I noticed with dismay how much they put into the bag, but there was nothing their mother or I could do about it. So it sounds like it's a growing process of developing, aging, and part of us processing and healing. We need to go through this bag stuffing and you'll see later on bag reopening and almost like healing, reprocessing, and almost like reclaiming broken parts of us that has drifted off. So I maintain that out of a round globe of energy, the 20-year-olds end up with a slice. Well, imagine a man who has a thin slice left. The rest is in the bag. And we'll imagine that he meets a woman. Let's say they are both 24. She has a thin, elegant slice left. They join each other in a ceremony. Ty, will you marry me? I noticed you have a sliver of your energy, of your radiant globe left. And I have a sliver of my globe of energy left. Let's get together. Let's make maybe 1/10 of a full globe of energy. Will you marry me? F that. Even together, the two do not make up one person. Marriage, when the bag is large, entails loneliness during the honeymoon for that very reason. Of course, we all lie about it. How is your honeymoon? Wonderful. How's yours? Woo! So that was only partway through that chapter. But I'm gonna leave it there for this episode. If you enjoyed listening from a little book on the human shadow by Robert Bly, that was chapter 2, the long bag we drag behind. If you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment with say read more, and next Saturday, say if I get maybe 10 people commenting read more, I'll read this book again and I'll try to finish the chapter. So thank you for listening, tuning in. Ty and I are so grateful. So the videos now are going strictly on YouTube. It's just been a process. It's our own growth. But we are exploring using kind of these the landscape videos primarily on YouTube, and we're going to keep our portrait videos on TikTok, Instagram stories, and posts as well, and Pinterest. I'm not as hot on my Pinterest the past couple weeks, but that's where you'll find our portrait style videos and work, whereas our creative endeavors that are in this kind of length, this kind of view, resolution, it's going to be strictly on our YouTube channel at Mindfully Abundant. So thank you for tuning in this Saturday. Bless you. Take care.